I need full disclosure. I need to know if there's anything in your past that can bite us in the ass on the campaign.
Oh, yeah, I'm a werewolf.
A what, Del?
It's an anthology series. Each week, the episodes are completely different
The
stories.
movies that I make are kind of like planes, and I land them when I can, you know, and yeah.
So can we expect a musical
But
episode?
I didn't say this to anyone else, is that I did a documentary called Call Me Lucky, which now I'm doing it as a narrative film with Judd Apatow. So he and I are writing it, and then I'm directing it, he's producing it.
So can we see a musical episode here?
There's a slightly musical episode. Bridget
okay.
Everett, there's choreographed mermaid, and there's a singing number, and then she's on a date as a mermaid. She's slightly racist. And then Neptune shows up. He comes out of the lagoon, and she's being pushed along on her date. And Neptune's like, "Hello, whore." And he's like, "Shh, that's my ex. Just keep going. This is what he does." So, but that one's like an MGM musical. The like, without sounding too pretentious, like the color palette is all those crush colors and stuff.
That's slightly racist.
Well, you just mentioned, the mermaid being a little racist. One of the things we were discussing is, in the 70s and 60s, they could get away with a lot more than for
Right.
the most part we can today. How are you thinking about? I know you must be holding things back.
No, I kind of don't, but I never have. So, I've always, that's why I like things like roasts or things like that. It's just like, like, wow, what would it be like if you're uncensored? It's like, I've always been uncensored. I've always said what I wanted on stage. Sometimes people didn't like it, but that's kind of how I feel like as a storyteller. Like I did a movie called God Bless America, and I had a chance to make it, and then I was given notes about changing the content, and I just walked away, not like, I'm not going to do this if you're going to censor me. I just said, I'd rather not do this movie, because I'd rather. Look, I've been in a lot of things that I was embarrassed of later on, and so now I'm not going to do stuff that. I'm not going to make something simply just to get something made. Like when I pitched the show, I said I want to do an anthology show, and then I was at Fox, and they said, well, what else would you like to do? I was like, I go, that's it. And they go, okay. And then the meeting was over really quickly. So I think most people would have said, but no, I've got this idea for competitive. It's pre-K Dancing with the Stars or something. Making a show wasn't as important to me as telling the stories I want to tell.
You said that this has been stewing for about 10 years or so.
Yeah.
Some movies you've done, such as Willow Creek, in the meantime.
Right.
What of those movies would have made it into this show instead of being full-length feature?
Well, Willow Creek definitely. There's definitely would have been. I made that movie because initially I was going to go do a Christopher Guest type movie around a Bigfoot convention. Because I went to a Bigfoot convention, and I was like, wow, I could just get all my friends, all these comedians, and we could all, because they're very. Like at the Bigfoot convention, before the keynote speaker, someone started talking about UFOs, and a third of the room went, who invited this kook? And then they got into a beef because there was a cardboard cutout of a pointy-headed Bigfoot, and we all know Bigfoot's head's flat, and the guy's like, you disgust me. And he goes, why? He goes, because Bigfoot's head's not pointy. And he goes, I've seen him 3 times, and you never will because you smoke. So I thought I'd do like a comedy, and then when I went up to Willow Creek, I realized it lended itself to a horror picture, and I said to Joe Lynch, the director, and he says, no, you got to go make that because it'll be your found footage. Because I have a problem with found footage. When it's done well, it's great, but when you start bending the rules of what made it great originally, it loses me. I'm also always like going, well, who edited this movie? Who found this footage? And say, well, I'm sorry your family got killed, but I think if we recut it, there's a tremendous picture here, and we'll dedicate it to them. So there is a found footage there's a found footage mockumentary where it's the footage is compiled after the filmmaker's dead, but it's about there's a pop star like Justin Bieber type character, and Satan comes backstage and he goes, look, just no more singing, no more dancing. The deal's off. It's my bad. And he goes, no, you want my soul. He's like, I don't know if you have a soul. So Satan reneges on his contract, and then it becomes kind of like the Metallica movie, Some Kind of Monster. So they all end up in therapy, Satan, the singer, his mother, and the producers and stuff. There's a lot of fantasy in it.
Did she say yes when you asked her out?
Are you listening to me? She is half human, half fish. I'm not going out with a mermaid.
Oh, is that because you're a racist?
There's also some underlying satire.
I want a president that's a werewolf so that other countries won't push us around.
And I like to mash up genres that don't normally go together.
Bubba the bear is real.
Like, what if Cape Fear and Roger Rabbit had a baby?
Ray, get inside, Ray.
It's a little dark, and because it's very dark in here.
You really believe you're the devil?
Ah, you still don't believe me, huh? I'm sorry, I get into one of my moods, and I'm sorry. You want some water?
The thing I'm most excited about is to each week challenge the audience. You're not tuning in and seeing the same faces.
Satan let me down?
Oh, I let you down?
It's important to be liked.
I'm not in it. I don't do a cameo. I don't do any voice work.
Pull over.
They're just the stories that come out of my head.
Anything else?
I ate a toddler once
Ah, jeez.
when I was a werewolf.
Ah.
Bobcat Goldthwait's Misfits and Monsters. Series premiere July 11th on TruTV.